Hello, everybody, and good morning. I'm Jackson Easley, joined alongside me, Chad Russo, coming to you live from Dunning Stadium for today's showdown between the Victor girls lacrosse team and the New Canaan Rams. Chad, Victor's coming off of a narrow 10-8 loss against Darien, in which they were up 7-4 at halftime, crumbled a bit in the second half, and lost that game. But they've been up, or down in Connecticut rather, for the weekend. Victor's 5 hours north in New York, and this is going to be their last game in their Connecticut stretch against New Canaan. Victor is a real powerhouse New York program, came into the season ranked 16th nationally. They're a great team, tons of recruits, but they're looking to turn around their bad streak against FCAC teams and Connecticut teams. They also lost last year in the national championship against Darien, and they're going to look to avoid falling to 4-2 today against New Canaan. While New Canaan is 3-0 to start the season, coming off of a narrow 12-11 win over Bronxville. They're looking to continue that success. Chad, what does New Canaan need to do today to sustain their win streak?
Yeah, so Jackson, we know where the talent is in this New Canaan Rams team. They have two All-Americans. They're still in Patton. She's not a big player, but she's really fast. She likes to cut to the net. Their teammates are always looking to feed her. They always know where she is on the field. And then there's Kaylee Harden, a fellow All-American who will be up on the highlights here in a second. She's a larger dodging midi, and she definitely brings a lot more power than Patton does, and teams definitely look to guard her more. And with players like Grace Callahan on this Victor team, she's going to Michigan, similar to Stella Nolan on the Rams. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how they try and shut down those two players, and how Hollis Mulry, who had 6 goals last week, is going to step up today.
You mentioned Hollis Mulvey, who was obviously a prolific scorer in their outing against Bronxville, but they have so many weapons on the offensive end. Caroline Underwood, Dylan Patton, as we mentioned, Kaylee Harden. They really all combined to make New Canaan a very potent offense and very difficult to stop. How do you think that Coach Nikki Frunze of Victor is going to strategize defensively to cover this Rams team?
I think she's really just going to emphasize keeping the defense as tight as possible, keeping them in tight in the zone there instead of spacing out, because when you space out, it really leaves players like Dylan Patton open opportunities to cut to the net.
That's right, Chad. Now we're going to send it down to the field for the starting lineups.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Canaan High School's Dunning Stadium for today's lacrosse game between the Victor Blue Devils and the New Canaan Rams. Now here are today's starting lineups. First for the Blue Devils. Number 1, Eva Pronti. Number 2, Grace Callahan. Number 4, Elena Andre. Number 10, Caitlin Keenan. Number 11, Devin Livingston. Number 13, Amber DeRosa. Number 15, Marin Savage. Number 16, Madison Mabbott. Number 21, Olivia Bruno. Number 22, Ella Pierpont. Number 24, Ava Pezzamenti. And in goal this afternoon for the Blue Devils is number 25, Kennedy Shotland. And now let's meet today's starting lineup for the New Canaan Rams. Number 1, Carolyn Barron. Number 3, Dylan Patton. Number 5, Stella Nolan. Number 6, Kaylee Harden. Number 8, Devin Russell. Number 9, Caroline Underwood. Number 10, Jade Lowe. Number 16, Jamie Leahy. Number 18, Hollis Mulry. Number 23, Lexi Tully. Number 24, Ella Patterson. And in the nets this afternoon for the Rams is number 42, Claire Mahoney. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise for the playing of the Star-Spangled Banner.
So, Chad, as the teams prepare to take the field, one key for today's game I really think is going to be the goalie play. Talk to us about what you see in Claire Mahoney as a player.
Well, I know Claire Mahoney, she's a Brown commit. That's always a great thing to have when you have a committed player in goal that can keep you in any game, even if the defense isn't playing well. And we saw before the game she was warming up with a normal stick. I'm not sure if this is normal in girls lacrosse, but it seemed a little abnormal to me. And she was looking good. I don't think she let in any shots with a normal stick. So that goalie stick today.
Claire Mahoney is very dedicated to her craft. No wonder she made it to Brown. She really puts in that extra work, always staying after practice to take shots, and definitely have seen the results pay off for her. She was first team All-FCAC last season, an excellent player. On the other end of the side, Shotland for Victor is definitely going to be another interesting player to watch in the net.
Yeah, I think this Victor team is definitely going to lean a lot more heavily on their defense than this Rams team is. They have a Michigan commit in Grace Callahan, definitely a great player, but we see Shotland not as recruited, not as heavily known about. We struggled. The stats team struggled to find information on her for this year, but it'll be interesting to see her play today. Maybe she's better than we actually know.
And for Victor, this is definitely an important game. They started off the season 4-0, but all of those games were against New York teams, Chad. And it's really an important game for them if they want to prove that they can keep par with these Connecticut teams, these FCAC programs, which have really dominated girls lacrosse over the past few years.
Yeah, it's amazing what these public high schools in New Canaan have been able to do, especially New Canaan and Darien. Being 5th and 6th in the country as public high school teams, you don't get to recruit players. You don't get to have a funnel of talent come in. So you really have to believe that these teams really rely on coaching more than most teams do.
That's right, and the coaching staff has certainly developed quite the class with the New Canaan seniors. It's a very talented, deep group with many commits, lots of talent on this roster, and they've been playing together for years, Chad.
Yeah, this is just a really athletic roster. A lot of the players come from the hockey team, which is state champions this year. I believe they only lost 3 games while they were in high school as a hockey team. And players like Kaylee Harden, Caitlin Tully, a lot of players were on that hockey team.
And now Kaylee Harden will take the field for the draw. And stoppage of play here almost immediately. And they will redo the draw. It's Livingston and Harden to take the draw again. And Livingston will win the draw, give Victor an early possession.
That was a great grab by Livingston, going up with one hand. Always something you want to see out of your draw taker.
And some tough defense here by New Canaan, trying to prevent Victor from clearing. But Victor successfully clears. And they'll swing it around the perimeter. Victor slowing it down here. Livingston will set it up from the top of the box. She's dodging on Kaylee Harden. Loses it, regains possession, and shoots it over the net. But Pronti, the Duke commit, is there to back it up. She'll dodge on Jade Lowe. Feeds inside, and a great save by Claire Mahoney.
It appears that Bruno was in the crease there. That's why the Rams got a guaranteed possession, even though Mahoney had already made the save.
That was a great save by Mahoney, even though the shot wouldn't have counted anyway. But regardless, Rams have it going the other way. It's Dylan Patton. Patton will swing it to Underwood, and the Rams will move it around the perimeter here. Here's Stella Nolan, who's always lethal offensively. Underwood feeds inside to Patton, who scores! Just like that, the Rams are off to a 1-0 lead, Chad.
That's not a shocker there, Jackson. We talked about it in the pregame. Dylan Patton likes to cut to the net, and her teammates always know where she is. You can see on that feed they were very confident, even though she was guarded to give her the ball. And that's definitely going to be a player they're going to look to have score maybe even a hat trick this game, Jackson.
Maybe even a hat trick. Would not be very surprising. She had 7 goals the other day against Fairfield Ludlow. She definitely puts them in the back of the net. And that assist was from number 9, Caroline Underwood, who's one of the smartest players on this team. Very high IQ player. She really knows how to feed from the back of the crease.
I would not be shocked to see her at a high-level institute like Harvard, maybe even MIT in the future.
Smart kid. Now here's Harden to take the draw again. And Livingston flips it out, but Harden secures the ground ball, and it's going the other way for the Rams. Canaan moving it around the perimeter, trying to set up another easy look like that last goal from Dylan Patton. Devin Russell will dodge. She wisely backs off and kicks it to X to Caroline Underwood. Now Patton feeds it inside Underwood, who finishes. An assist on the first goal from Underwood. Now Underwood gets her own goal.
Yeah, Jackson, Underwood was not a player that had a lot of goals this year, but she's already making a huge impact in this game. Being responsible for 2 points this early is something that's really impressive, and hopefully she can carry that on throughout the rest of the game.
And what a start from the Rams. Under 3 minutes into the game, they're already up 2-0, and Underwood, as we said, just can't praise her enough. Such a high IQ player, found the open space, got the feed, and a great look for her.
Yeah, Jackson, and I think it's important to keep in mind she's a crucial member of our stats team that we put together for this game.
That's right. She definitely delivered a lot of insights on the team. Now here's Harden, and there's Devin Russell to scoop it up. Livingston and Harden kind of lost the ball in the draw there, but it's back in the stick of Caroline Underwood, who takes it behind the net. Hollis Mulry throws a wild pass intended for Kaylee Harden, but the Rams save it. Heads up play there by Carolyn Barron, and the Rams maintain possession. Dylan Patton with the ball in the top left of the box. Underwood. Rams just methodically moving the ball around this possession. Kaylee Harden looks like she might go. Might have had a look there, but she pulls it out. And the offense will reset as Devin Russell's ready to dodge. Patton and Russell. And Harden moving the ball back and forth. Some great defense here from Victor, Chad.
Yeah, Jackson, they've definitely been trying to funnel the Rams down towards X, and it hadn't been paying off, but so far on this possession, it really looks like the Rams are a little bit uncomfortable, and maybe this will be the defense the Victor team was looking to play the whole day.
Now Kaylee Harden looks like she had some room. She passes inside to Russell, and I believe Russell will have an 8-meter attempt here, Chad.
Yeah, that was quite the shot she took from Livingston there. It almost looked like a right hook to the face.
And now Russell is an excellent shooter. Will have an attempt, which she does not take. She instead will slow it down to give her team a possession. And another 8-meter attempt. This time it's Caroline Underwood, who has a decent angle for a righty shot, but we'll see if she pulls it out or goes for it this time.
I'm not quite sure what the call was there, Jackson. It might have been a 3-second in the 8-meter arc call. I couldn't really tell.
That's right, and Canaan kind of slowing it down. I think they got another call, maybe another 8-meter here.
I can't tell. Are these? I cannot tell what these calls are. Are they mouthpiece calls? Maybe people's mouthpiece aren't in? I can't really tell.
I don't think they're mouthpiece calls, Chad, but
But Jackson, what do you think the call was there? Let's speculate a little bit.
shooting space possibly.
Oh, maybe.
But they have not gone for any of the shots, as Hollis Murray, who we mentioned had 6 goals last game, will pass up the shot and kicks it to Devin Russell. It's another 8-meter attempt here for Underwood. All these attempts and no goals so far for the Rams. Defense for Victor is holding up, but definitely giving some opportunities to the Rams, Chad.
Yeah, it really seems like this Rams team just wants to keep possession. They're not really going for these 8-meter shots. Maybe they're trying to burn a little bit of clock. They're understanding that they have the possession advantage so far today, and they've been able to hold it the whole time.
And it looks like Caroline Underwood jumped, so it's a turnover. Victor will take over, as Livingston will take it up the field for the Blue Devils. Victor getting a settled possession here. It's Mabbitt with it at X. She'll dodge on Ella Patterson and shoot, but it's a wild shot. It goes to the right of the cage, but Victor's there to back it up.
You could really tell that Mabbitt was trying to use her size to her advantage there. She was able to box out the defender, get a nice inside clean roll. I wouldn't be surprised if she keeps doing that for the rest of the day.
That's right, but she's going to have a tough time against Ella Patterson, who's committed to Gettysburg and is an excellent defender for this Rams team. And now it's Pronti, guarded by Jade Lowe, senior defenseman. Great defense there by Dylan Patton on Livingston. And now Victor will get an 8-meter attempt. Claire Mahoney readies herself in the cage. And a score there. It's number 21, Olivia Bruna, the Virginia commit. Very talented player for this team.
Yeah, she's definitely a tall girl, Jackson, standing at 5'9". That really gives her a lot more range, and it allows her to generate more power on her shots than the typical smaller player might be able to do. And we could see it on that shot there. She was able to go 5-hole on Claire Mahoney, a very rare thing to see against this Rams team.
That's right, great shot from her. And they narrow the Rams' lead to 1. Now Kaylee Harden will return on the field to take the draw for the Rams. She hasn't had much success so far today, Chad. Hasn't won the draw cleanly yet, but it's definitely been a tough battle between her and Livingston. Now, players ready for the draw here. New Canaan looking to further extend their 1-goal lead after the Victor response. But Livingston wins the draw and has it on a fast break here. She's dodging on Harden, right in the middle. And another goal for Victor. Just went low on Claire Mahoney. Not much she could do there.
That was a great play by Livingston, Jackson. She's a sophomore coming into this, so we don't really have any recruitment info on her, but she really seems to be the leader of this team. She's been taking the draws. She's been successful against Kaylee Harden, one of the better players in the country. And she's really just leading this team right now, in my opinion.
And after that, a New Canaan run to start off the game 2-0. Victor responds, tying this game up 2-2, and this is just the type of shootout we thought we'd see today, Chad. Two great teams playing.
Yeah, Jackson, you have to wonder, though, if the Rams are regretting not taking some of those shots on those 8-meter setups. Because now if you're looking at what Victor has been able to do, they were able to put one in early on Claire Mahoney, and it really helped build momentum off that next draw.
That's right, Chad. It felt like the Rams had all the momentum. 4 8-meter attempts in a row. Didn't go for any of them, and instead turned it over. And now just like that, it's going the other way again in the stick of Bruno. Babbitt will settle it down behind the cage, guarded by Ella Patterson. Livingston swings it over to Bruno. Victor getting a nice settled possession in here. And there's Stella Nolan, the Michigan commit, running out to play defense on Livingston. Scored the last goal for Victor. And Livingston goes right by her and puts another one in the back of the cage. That was just superior play by Livingston. Just flat out beat Stella Nolan.
Yeah, I can't say enough about Livingston so far this game. She's been able to dominate the draws, being able to get Victor some possessions, and she's able to take a D1 Michigan commit to the rack like that. You have to believe the coaching staff of Victor is going to rely more on her as this game goes on.
And as you said earlier, only a sophomore, but just a dominating performance for her to start the game. Her second goal, and she has played phenomenal. Definitely helping the team a lot on the draw. But New Canaan will try sophomore Lexi Tully on the draw this time, see if she can have any more success against Livingston.
I wonder if they're putting Kaylee Harden on the wing here to try and get the ground ball more so than having Lexi take the draw.
That's right, Chad, because there hasn't been a clean win on the draw yet. But this one will be going New Canaan. New Canaan's way. As Devin Russell will kick it down to Caroline Underwood. New Canaan spinning it around the perimeter. Looking to respond to that third Victor goal. Victor scored 3 unanswered on the Rams. Harden pumps and kicks it off. Now it's Reed. A feed inside intended for Underwood. It's not completed, but it'll be an 8-meter attempt for Kaylee Harden.
You have to believe Kaylee's going to take this shot here. If it's not, you can really tell that the Rams are playing a passive game today.
And she will take the shot. And she's unable to finish, but I believe she was pushed there. She may have another 8-meter attempt coming her way. And Kaylee Harden, an aggressive player. Not surprising to see her go for the shot here, Chad. She will do again, and it goes off the pipe on the bounce shot. And I'm not sure what the official called there, Chad.
Saw him waving his hand at the ground there, Jackson. I'm not exactly sure what the hand signs are, but
I think it might have been a crease. Might have been a crease on Kaylee Harden, but
something like that.
Regardless, it's going the other way for Victor. Savage will kick it up to Bruno. Victor's got some space here. They can run. Bruno gets double teamed. Dylan Patton with a great recovery on defense, and now Livingston will command the offense and settle it down. Here's DeRosa. Dodging on Apel, but
it's surprising to see how far the Rams are pushing out on Livingston here. It's almost like they're giving her more room to make plays on these drives to the net. I wouldn't be surprised if they slough in a little bit more, make her think more before she dodges.
That's right, and that cost them there, Chad. A cross check was called on, I believe it was Devin Russell.
I believe so.
And Victor will just continue this possession. there's Dylan Patton again. Dylan Patton can't afford to slough out like that, Chad. She's one of the fastest players on this team. Great recovery speed from her. Victor is a 1-goal lead. They can afford to play their game, just slowing it down and moving the ball around. Great on-ball defense there from Izzy Apelt. Now it's Pierpoint. Bruno with that at the top of the box, guarded by Carolyn Barron. Livingston will dodge on Russell. Looking to feed inside. The double comes from Carolyn Barron. Great defense here from the Rams.
Yeah, it wasn't really surprising to see a double there with Carolyn. Carolyn's the best defender on this Rams team, and you can tell they're trying to make a point of making sure that Livingston does not beat them.
And a great shot there from Eva Pronti. The Duke commit just comes around from behind the cage, rips a shot right past Claire Mahoney. And just like that, the Blue Devils have scored 4 unanswered.
Yeah, this Victor team is really showing the depth that they have. We've had 2 goals from Livingston, 1 from Eva Pronti, a Duke commit, clearly a very good player. And another one, I believe, from Olivia Bruno, I think it was at one point. And when you have 3 major goal scorers like this, it's really hard to, on defense, set up your defense. And that's something this Rams team has, but it hasn't really shown through yet today.
And if New Canaan could just get a possession, they definitely have their own weapons on the offensive end, but they've struggled on the draw. And when they've had possessions, they haven't really done much with them, Chad. Just moving the ball around and unable to find cutters inside.
Yeah, Jackson, I think that all goes back to Livingston. She's done a great job being able to keep possession for this Victor team and is a major reason to why they're winning this game.
And Livingston will take the draw again against Tully, who flips it out to the New Canaan side, and Carolyn Barron's there to scoop it up. She'll look to run it herself. Maybe an ill-advised decision by her. She had Dylan Patton open, but elected to keep it herself, and as a result, it's a turnover, and Pronti will take it the other way.
That was an excellent ride set up by Victor. Even though they had the quick turnover there going to Carolyn Barron, it was a really well the way they cornered her.
And a push will be called. Ella Patterson toppled over on that play, and the Rams will take it on the turnover. Dylan Patton gives it to Norton, who turns it over. Really costly mistake there from the sophomore.
Yeah, the new youth of Norton really showed through there, not being able to throw the ball, maybe getting a little concerned in a game like this.
And a bit of a confusing play there. New Canaan's going to retain possession.
The Victor parents do not sound happy in the stands near us, Jackson. I think they called a deflection on Victor.
And that's a major break for New Canaan, who's already down 2. And now Kaylee Harden. They say she was in the crease. I don't know about that one, Chad. Looks like she got shoved.
Yeah, Kaylee Harden does not seem happy with that call. It really looked like she got shoved. I almost thought the ball went in before she touched the crease, too.
So did I. Definitely a very questionable call there, but regardless, it's Livingston going the other way.
Look at the hustle from Dylan Patton there, getting back on defense, being able to cut off Livingston. Livingston's also a very fast player. In the pregame, we heard that Dylan Patton, her teammate Jade Lowe, claimed that she runs a 4.640. I'm not so sure about that, but she is definitely a very fast player.
That's right, Chad. Great defense there from Kate Coyote on number 16. That's Madison Mabbitt for Victor. Stop her momentum. Now Livingston will feed inside to Pronti. She's guarded by senior defenseman Jade Lowe. Great defense there from Jade, the Williams commit. And a feed inside is intercepted. Great play there. That's number 26, Izzy Apelt, who gives it up to Devin Russell, who's trapped on the sideline. And a dirty play there from Victor, as Devin Russell ends up on the ground without her stick. But the Rams will maintain possession. Devin Russell has it on the right side of the box.
Yeah, you would have liked to have seen Devin Russell pass it up to Hollis Mulry there. She was cutting down the middle of the field. Devin Russell was double teamed, but she just couldn't get the ball out.
Regardless, New Canaan will maintain possession despite that near turnover with Russell running on the sideline. And New Canaan will spin it around the perimeter. Russell dodges on Livingston. She can't find anyone opening up for her. Lexi Tully tried to cut. Devin Russell tries again, feeds inside, but Norton could not handle it. The hold is called. And Norton will have an 8-meter attempt. Very talented sophomore. She can definitely knock these down, Chad. But instead, she pulls it out.
Yeah, Jackson, that's surprising to see from her. Her brother, Michael Norton, he's a midi on the boys lacrosse team, a very aggressive player, tends to shoot. I would have really expected her to shoot there.
But regardless, now it's Devin Russell with a roll dodge, and she gets shoved by Aliana Andre.
Devin Russell's been really great at drawing contact today. We've seen a lot of penalties called, players hitting her a bunch of times. We saw it in pregame even against her own teammates. She really looks for contact.
And she has the 8-meter, but she does not take it. New Canaan has had no success today in the 8-meters. They're really struggling with those, Chad.
I'm wondering if it's the presence of Livingston in the middle there. I think they might think that Livingston might be able to cut them off with her speed, and that might be why they're not taking these shots.
Instead, they elect for a settled possession, and they'll move it around. Kaylee Harden looking to feed. Instead, New Canaan will just spin it around the perimeter again, hoping something will open up for them. And a feed to Norton, who couldn't find anything there. Now it's Russell. He's got some space. Patton tried to pass it to Russell, but the ball fell out of her stick, and a great ground ball there from Devin Russell.
Yeah, she's been really key, and once again, she's been making the tough plays for this Rams team. She might not have a goal yet today, but she's really helped them be able to keep possession, and has been a key factor in them being able to stay in this game.
Definitely. And New Canaan just cannot find anything. Ever since that crease call on Kaylee Harden, when they thought she had a goal, they have not produced anything on the offensive end. Stella Nolan will join the offense. Tully looking to feed from behind the net. She does find Hollis Mulry, but her shot lane is quickly cut off. Kaylee Harden will try on Livingston. Just great defense here from Victor.
Yeah, this is very reminiscent of the Rams man-down defense for their boys team. They allow players to carry it behind. They don't really go and chase anyone. They're keeping it tightly packed in, and the Rams haven't been able to find a hole in this defense all day.
And New Canaan really thrives off those shots inside, but they haven't been getting any of those opportunities. So this really stout defense from Victor. And a feed inside to Dylan Patton is cut off, but Kaylee Harden recovers, and she will get an 8-meter with a good angle. I'd love to see her go for a shot here, Chad.
You have to believe she's looking for redemption on that prior crease call they called on her.
Harden readies herself. She pulls it out to Hollis Mulry. And it looked like Mulry could have fed Norton on the crease, but she passed it out. And now it's Dylan Patton who drawed the double. Russell with a split dodge. Kicks it to X. It's Kaylee Harden. Rams have had possession for over 4 minutes here, Chad, and just no production from them. Taking under 5 minutes left to go in the half. Hollis Mulvey goes for a shot, but it's saved by Shotland. And great defense on the ride. Devin Russell, one-on-one with the goalie. And it's saved by Shotland. What a turn of events for the Rams.
I mean, once again, it was Devin Russell making the tough play, being able to pick up the ball there, go to the net. But it just hasn't been able to pay off for the Rams today. It really looks like they're lacking aggression. They really need to take the ball to the net more.
And Devin Russell could have, it looked to me, just shot right away, but she kind of stopped and tried to roll back.
Yeah, there's definitely been some hesitation today from the Rams. It's something we haven't seen all season, but it might be the higher-ranked opponent that they're playing against. These higher-ranked matchups, people tend to get nervous.
And Victor's really struggling on the clear as Lexi Tully gets the ball, and she gets pushed into the crease. Another golden opportunity for the Rams, which they completely smoked. Lexi Tully was doing great defense on the ride there, forced a turnover, but unable to convert. She will get an 8-meter attempt.
See, you got to be happy with 8-meter attempts, but it seems like the Rams are just going to pull it out like usual. I'm not really sure what they're doing right now, Jackson.
Now Tully. And she gets shoved over. And looks like they called a cross check there.
I don't know, man. The Victor parents seem to be a little upset. There was a little back and forth between the referees there. It appears the head referee overruled the closer referee, something you rarely see in sports, but it seemed to have happened here.
And possibly another 8-meter here for Tully. And the Rams have just had so many opportunities on this possession. 2 back-to-back rides resulted in turnovers and seemingly easy shots, but then they turned over both of those and ended up with 8 meters. And it looks like that was an early start there from Callahan, the Michigan commit, running in early.
Yeah, Callahan started a false start even there. That was one of the worst false starts I've ever seen. And, yeah.
Now, Tully. There was whistles. A lot of confusion on the field. Tully had a goal, but it is waved off. So there were whistles before the shot. And Livingston takes it the other way. Clock running under 3 minutes. Victor may run the break here. And a great check from Dylan Patton. Phenomenal defense from her. We know about her production on the offensive end, but she's a great defender too, Chad.
Yeah, well, we can't really say enough about Dylan Patton. She's been able to do it all on the field today. She might not have as many goals as usual, but if you look at the way she's played today, she's a player on defense, really helped the Rams keep possession.
And great clear there from Hollis Mulry. Caught a high pass, tiptoed down the sidelines. Got her team a possession. 2 minutes, 27 seconds to go in the first half of this one. The Rams will definitely look to narrow down the Blue Devils' lead. And keep in mind, Chad, in the Darien game, Victor was leading 7-4 at halftime. So even if the Rams go into halftime at a deficit, there's still hope for them. Victor has shown that they sometimes crumble in the second half of games.
And you have to believe with a coach like Kristen Woods, she'll be able to put together a great halftime game plan. She'll have some time to set the players up, get their minds right, because it seems to be that the Rams are a little nervous right now.
And with all the experience in the senior class, I really think the Rams would be well equipped to handle big games like this, but they have not looked themselves so far. And here's Dylan Patton, and it gets stripped from her stick, and she puts her hand on her head after that one. Not happy with that.
I think she might have been signaling to the ref that she got hit in the head, but she did not receive the call.
And Victor will have to clear. Shotland has really struggled on these clears so far, which can be partly attributed to great defense from Lexi Tully. But Livingston will just take it herself, running through defenders. And Victor will settle it down. as the clock winds under a minute to go. 4-2 lead for Victor.
Yeah, you got to like the decision by Schottland there, throwing it to Livingston. She's had a great game so far today. She's definitely going to be the person they look to carry the ball up the field from now on. She's the fastest player on the field, maybe besides Dylan Patton. And it's almost like she's a guaranteed clear when she has the ball.
That's right. Victor certainly depended on the sophomore today. And they will go for the last shot here, just methodically moving the ball around during these last 30 seconds of the first half. And another goal for Livingston. That's a hat trick. 16 seconds to go in the first half. She went right by her defender and put one in the back of the net.
You have to be disappointed with the Rams here. They knew Livingston was going to dodge. Everyone knew who was going to take the ball to the net there in the last couple seconds. And they didn't set up properly on defense. The slide was a little bit late to get in her way. And, yeah, definitely something the Rams are going to have to correct at halftime.
And Chad, I did not see this performance from Livingston coming. Coming into this game, our stat department told us about Eva Pronti, the Duke commit, and Olivia Bruno, the Virginia commit. And we really expected them to be the scorers for this team, but the sophomore, who would have thought, Livingston, absolutely dominating.
Yeah, when you see big-name schools like that, you always assume it's going to be the best player on the field. But sometimes you have these sophomores, people that aren't committed yet because they can't be, and those are some of the best players typically on teams. When you can have youth out there that can play well, it's something like what these Rams have had. Kaylee Harden was a starter as an underclassman, and then Devin Russell, a freshman player last year. Yeah.
And the Rams have to go here. 6 seconds to go. Got to get a shot off. It's Kaylee Harden, who does not get a shot off in time. Wouldn't have counted even if she'd hit it. But a bit of a struggle in this first half for the Rams, Chad. They're down 3, 5-2 going into halftime. The same deficit that Darien trailed by, the 6th-ranked team in the country. So it's definitely not a lost cause for them, but they need to make some changes going into half.
Yeah, look, Jackson, this New Canaan team, they have a great offense typically. Dylan Patton, always good. She's been having a great day today. But Kaylee Harden hasn't been having quite the day you typically expect from her. And it wouldn't be surprising if she came out in the second half, fired up, ready to play a little bit harder. And I think they can both lead this Rams team back into the game.
And even Dylan Patton struggled out there. We saw 3 times the ball fell out of the back of her stick as she was going for a shot attempt. Really wasn't happy with that. And the Rams can make some changes. They have the firepower offensively. They can come back in this game, but they definitely need to make some adjustments.
You have to believe the key is going to be shutting down Livingston. For the rest of the game, they can't allow a player with a hat trick to put up more goals against them. It's just not something you can allow because, if anything, it brings that Victor team more confidence than they came in here with probably.
That's right, and we will be right back after a 6-minute break after this word from our sponsors.
Jackson, let me tell you, I'm a massive fan of our Platinum sponsors. Walter Stewart's, we talked about them last week, but I can tell you we always get the freshest produce from Walter Stewart's. I know I went and got a drink from Walter Stewart's a couple of days ago. Rambuya and Harrow Real Estate. I think I talked about it last time, but they were super sweet to my family when we bought our house from them. Always a great company. Carl Chevrolet, as I like to call them, the automotive jewel of New Canaan. It's where I got my car, my red Ford F-150. What a beautiful car it is. And yeah. In William J. Fessler Dentistry, I talked about it last week. I'm going to talk about it again. He's always the nicest guy. I always look forward to going in there, getting my teeth cleaned, making sure my pearly whites are also white. And now on to the gold sponsors. The gold sponsors include Renaissance Partners, LLC. They're a residential construction company. They've helped build New Canaan to the beautiful town it is now. And Performance Optimal Health. They're great for physical therapy. If you need help, Performance is always willing to do it. I know they're a great place. They used to have some trainers here that would help us out all the time. Thank you once again to all of our sponsors. And we'll be back in 6 minutes. Have a good day.
So, Chad, Victor's going to look to avoid blowing another three-goal lead rather against an FCAC team. They let up a go-ahead goal in the last minute against Darien to lose that one after going into halftime, up 7-4. And they're definitely going to want to keep some strong defense, as they've shown throughout this whole game, really packing it around the crease, preventing the easy opportunities for the Rams.
Yeah, Jackson, you have to believe this Rams team is coming in a little more inspired now in this second half. When you're down 3 goals like this, there's 2 responses. One, you can crawl up, you can bury your head in the sand, and you can just call it a day, and it can be bad. Or you can put your head down, you can go to work, and I think that's what the Rams team is going to do right now.
And Victor definitely has to look to cut down on penalties. That's part of the reason they lost that game to Darien. They had 4 yellow cards in the final 8 minutes and had to play the last minute of the game man down, which is a large part of the reason that they lost. And we've seen tons of 8-meter attempts from the Rams so far, tons of penalties from Victor. Buchanan has been able to capitalize, but they could certainly turn that around in this second half. Victor will move it around the perimeter here. Mabbitt has it behind the cage, guarded by Ella Patterson. Here's DeRosa, guarded by Patton. And here's Livingston, guarded by Kaylee Harden, already has 3 goals today. Bruno draws the double team and kicks it over to Livingston. Victor just moving the ball around, burning some clock, waiting for the right opportunity. Livingston will dodge, but pull it out, kick it up to Mabbitt. Not much happening here for Victor as they work the ball on the perimeter, not really putting too much pressure on the Rams defense. Livingston dodges on Russell. Some great defense there from the sophomore Devin Russell to force Livingston down the alley. I'd really like to see some more pressure on the defensive end from the Rams, Chad. They're down 3 goals. It's definitely time to have some bit of a sense of urgency here in the second half.
Yeah, Jackson, that's easier said than done, though, because a lot of these goals that Victor's been able to put up have come from pressing out too far on players like Livingston and Pronti here. And when you push out on players like this, you just give them more space to make a move and beat you.
And just like that, Pronti feeds inside to Canaan, who mishandles it, and a turnover as Carolyn Barron will run it the other way.
We saw Barron turn it over on the last clear. I wouldn't be surprised. Yup, and she passes it away.
Wisely passing it to Kaylee Harden, who's a very secure ball handler. And Harden will take it right to the cage. Little jab there from her, and she kicks it out instead to Lexi Tully. Underwood backing into number 24 there. That's Ava Pesamenti. And just 1 goal, Chad, could be all the Rams need to really turn the momentum. They started the game on a 2-goal run, but just have had no scoring since. And Kaylee Harden with an attempt, but a great save there made by Shotland. And Nolan is tripped, so the Rams will retain possession.
We talked about Claire Mahoney at the beginning of the game and her ability to make saves, but Shotland so far today has really been playing well in goal. It's not really something we were expecting, but she's really put together a great game thus far.
And a turnover there for the Rams as Underwood intended to pass to Russell. But despite the bad pass, they will maintain possession. Rams moving the ball around. Kaylee Harden gives it up to Devin Russell, who will dodge on Andre. Russell shoots goes to the left of the cage. Great look there for Russell, though.
The Rams have been able to get the ball inside today, Jackson, but we've seen a lot of just missed shots, and there have been a couple crease calls that have been maybe a little questionable, but still, at the same time, you have to have them finish their shots inside.
That's a penalty, or miss rather, that you're fine with if you're the Rams. They backed up the shot, maintained possession.
And it appears DeRosa is getting a yellow card here, so she'll be out for, it appears to be a minute for cross-checking.
And New Canaan definitely needs to capitalize on this opportunity. Really got to make your man-up possessions count when you're down in a game in the second half, especially against a great team like Victor. Love to see them get Hollis Mulry involved here, Chad. She had 6 goals in their game over the weekend, versus Bronxville. And she's just a real weapon on the offensive end that they definitely need to utilize more in this game when they need scoring.
Yeah, Jackson, we've seen a lot of possessions go to Lexi Tully. She's had a tough time shooting so far today, but she's definitely a good player. But it's a little surprising not to see as much Hollis Mulry, as you said.
And Lexi Tully kicks it up top to Kaylee Harden, who takes it through the defense and finds Caroline Underwood, who feeds Russell inside, but the whistle was blown before the shot, and Caroline Underwood will have an 8-meter attempt.
Yeah, Jackson, ref ball really seems to be taking over here a little bit. We've seen 2 goals already called back for the Rams on some slight calls. I know they get an 8-meter here, but still, it's definitely been holding them back a little bit.
That's right, and we keyed into Victor's penalties being a real factor that costed them against Darien, and looks like that may do the same here, but another miss from Devin Russell, which is backed up by Lexi Tully. Nolan rolls inside, and she will take an 8-meter now.
I think we call that one in sports an ankle breaker move right there by Stella Nolan. That was a great little shift, little juke she put on number 22 there. It was a great play.
I'd love to see Stella Nolan go for a shot here. And another save from Shotland, who has just been dominant. And New Canaan looking to play some good defense on the ride here. They've definitely been successful so far, and now Shotland's out of the cage and double teamed, and she will throw an arid pass, which is scooped up and then lost by Carolyn Barron, and it'll be going with the Rams. Bit of confusion on the field. Coach Woods may have tried to call a timeout when the ball was still with Carolyn Barron. But it will stay white ball. Rams will maintain possession. As the last few seconds on the Victor penalty wind down, and Victor will be even now. A feed inside to Dylan Patton by Lexi Tully is mishandled, but Hollis Mulry's there to recover the ball. Here's Mulry. She'll dodge and shoot, and it's saved by Shotland again.
Shotland's having one heck of a game here at Jackson. And let me tell you, when you have a goalie that's on like this in a game like this, it really just gives confidence to this Victor team. You can tell they're more willing to take shots because they know Shotland's in goal to make some saves and to keep them in this.
And it really helps your defense, too. You can afford to play more aggressive when your goalie's playing like that. And after that long possession for the Rams, Victor takes over, and now they will have a settled opportunity to run out some more clock and maybe even build on their 3-goal lead. Victor in no hurry, moving the ball around the perimeter. DeRosa and Livingston with it at the top of the box. Bruno waits for the offense to set up before feeding Livingston, who draws a double there from Russell and Barron. DeRosa considers dodging on Harden, but great defense there from Kaylee Harden to force a pass down to Mabit.
You can really see the poise from this Victor team here, Jackson. You can really tell it's a team that was in the national championship last year. They're willing to be patient, not rush the ball to the net. They really want to control possession here and run out the clock.
They're doing the little things right, Chad. They haven't turned the ball over on passes as many times as New Canaan has. Really doing a great job of controlling the possession, as you said. Now Pronti calls for an ISO here. Guarded by Jade Lowe. And she puts it in the back of the net. Another goal for Pronti. That's her second. And the Blue Devils take a 4-goal lead. New Canaan's definitely in trouble now, Chad.
Yeah, and you just have to wonder what the Rams are doing there. They allowed an inside roll to a Duke commit there, a player that's really good. You really want to shut off those easy open looks that she was able to get there. And that's just one of those tough plays she was able to make. You saw her goggles fell off there. Yeah, you can tell why she's going to Duke. With a play like that, what she was able to put together, that was really impressive.
And it's not over for the Rams with 15, almost 16 minutes to go in this one, but they need a spark, just some goal, some momentum booster to turn it around. They haven't scored since the first 5 minutes of the game, Chad. It's been a massive drought for them, a 6-0 Victor run. This is the time where you rely on players like Dylan Patton and Kaylee Harden to just get a goal for your team.
Yeah, and I know we've been saying that all day, but it just hasn't seemed to happen so far. You have to wonder, maybe it's going to be Hollis Mulry. We saw her step up in a big game last week. But, yeah, when you can't win the draw like they did there, it's definitely an issue.
And it goes to Bruno, who gives it to Mabit, who's running with it at X. And Victor has an opportunity to kill some more clock here.
And if you look at the last possession, Jackson, they were able to burn almost 4 minutes of clock. So if they keep doing this, the Rams are just going to run out of time.
Clock is definitely working against the Rams now. And they might just have to start taking more chances defensively. Anything that they can do to force a turnover is definitely necessary now.
I know when I was playing guys lacrosse, Coach Buzzy always emphasized in times like this, try to jump the passing lane. Because you can tell teams, when you have to play like this, teams get bored. You don't want to have to pass the ball around the exterior like this. And if you can get players in the passing lanes, you can create quick goals just off turnovers.
You'd also like to see New Canaan maybe attack one of the weaker players in the offensive end out there for Victor right now. Bring a double team and force a player into a bad position. But Victor's looked very sound with their stick skills so far, really completing all their passes, so it's going to be difficult for the Rams to force any sort of turnover.
Yeah, Jackson, and that opportunity is really not coming. With Pronti having the ball, we've already seen she's a really skilled ball handler. If they get it to Livingston even, those are two players you don't want to have the ball at this time like this. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams maybe try and jump. It might be a committed player, but it might be Madison Mabit. That might be who they have to jump when she has the ball.
That's right. And another goal. A feed there from Pronti. And Victor is just piling it on now. 7 unanswered to extend their lead to 5. And this is just a very, very rough game for the Rams, who are on track to lose at home to this New York team.
Yeah, Jackson, you have to believe Victor's so excited right now. You come down 5 hours from New York, you lose a close one to Darien, one of the tip-top premier teams in the country, and now you're beating New Canaan by 5 goals with pretty much a quarter left if we're going in time. And Look, the Rams, they can come back. It's still a possibility. But with the way Victor's playing right now, they have this confidence about them. You can see it on the field. They know what they've been able to put together today. And with the Rams have no momentum if we look at their team. They've missed some open shots, and you just can't do that if you're going to be playing against top-tier talent like this Victor team.
And Victor really came into this game with a chip on their shoulder, Chad. They lost the last game against Darien, as we've mentioned multiple times, and that was their second loss in a row against a FCAC opponent. Didn't want to make that 3 losses in a row, and they've just really come to play here. Excellent play. Great job on that last possession by Pronti in particular, who's a very high IQ player, a multi-sport athlete. She just controlled that possession for for Victor rather, and then fed inside for an easy goal to extend their lead even further.
Yeah, it's been Livingston and it's been Pronti today. Those two players, they were able to put together decent games against Darien. As we see, Darien appears to have a student section here of their girls lacrosse team. And but they've been able to continue it today. They've been able to not even continue what they did against Darien. They've been better today than they were against Darien. You have to believe the sting of maybe that close loss is what might have motivated them to come out and play so well today.
And Darien's definitely going to be excited if the score in this game holds, because it'll cause a shake-up in the girls' high school lacrosse rankings, with New Canaan, who currently sits at 5th, ahead of 6th-ranked Darien, likely falling after this game. And Victor, who is 16th in some rankings, will definitely surge. But for Darien, this will definitely be good as they rise in the rankings. And for New Canaan, they're going to fall to 3-1 if they lose this game. Definitely need to bounce back with some of their upcoming stretch against some FCAC teams.
And let's be honest, Jackson, this Rams team has been on a bit of a skid, only winning by one against Bronxville, and having to rely on Hollis Mulry to put up 6 goals is just not something coming into this game and coming out of this game that you can rely on all season. You need to have a more balanced attack, which is something they haven't had.
That's right. And after this game, the Rams will head to Wilton to play an FCAC game there, but they'll try to bounce back if they lose this one. But for these next 14 minutes, the Rams definitely need to build on some momentum that they can take into their upcoming stretch. Devin Russell will take her first draw of the game against Livingston. And Victor ball on the hold. Callahan will pass it down to number 22, Piermont, who turns it over. And Stella Nolan runs with it. Kicking it up to Lexi Tully. Mulry scores! That's just what the Rams needed. 4-goal game, but a sign of life from the Rams.
See, this is the type of play we expected from the Rams. Quick moving in transition. We know they're a really fast team, and that was that first Hollis Mulry goal that we were looking for.
And New Canaan's got to look to build on that, Chad.
Yeah, and you have to believe that was all set up by the defense of Kaylee Harden. She was a little frustrated on a missed hold call by the refs, and you saw her run down and strip, I believe it was Pierpont for a Victor there, who's probably one of their weaker offensive players. I wouldn't be surprised if they double her more often as this game goes on.
Definitely, and it'll be interesting to see if New Canaan can have some success on the draw. They have Devin Russell out there taking it, who lost the last one, but so they don't have to force turnovers to the source of their. They got to get some wins on the draw, Chad.
Sure, if Devin Russell lost that last draw, she was able to push it towards the Victor side of the field. It just happened to be a blown ground ball and maybe a missed hold call.
This one is a ground ball again. Dylan Patton fighting for it, and she's pretty good at scooping up ground balls. One of the best players on this whole Rams roster. She secures the possession, and she will pass it down to Caroline Underwood.
I really like this shift the Rams have made to putting Devin Russell at the draw. She's been really gritty today, been able to get some ground balls, and that's definitely a player you want being able to take a draw.
13 minutes definitely gives the Rams some time to work with. They scored their first 2 goals in the game in a span of about 2 minutes. And here's Devin Russell, who shoots in another save by Shotland, who has just been lights out today.
See, you want a higher angle shot there. Devin Russell was kind of fading off to the right side, threw it across her body. It's hard to generate a lot of power and a good angle there.
That was a high-to-high shot, really easy save for the goalie, but this is some great defense by the combination of Dylan Patton and Lexi Tully, who force Coach Frunze of Victor to call a timeout.
This is the first time since the beginning of the game, Jackson, that we've seen the Rams playing with a lot of energy. There really seems to be, that one goal really seemed to start something. It seemed to spark something. We saw a lot more cheering from their bench there. And Victor's running a little bit scared when they're trying to clear the ball.
And that was just excellent on-ball defense from Dylan Patton. We've seen that all day from her. She throws some great checks. She was really putting some pressure on the ride there for Victor and forces the team to call a timeout. Let's see if Coach Frunze can draw up a better play to clear the ball against this Rams ride.
See, I wouldn't be surprised if Livingston started with the ball here. We saw it earlier in this half where they gave her the ball behind the net and they had her run it all the way down. And with her speed, I just have to believe that Victor's going to give her the ball.
If you have a player who can clear the ball single-handedly, it's definitely someone you can lean on in these games where other players are struggling to clear the ball. But Livingston's definitely a great option for this Victor team.
Yeah, Jackson, and lacrosse is typically a game of possession. If you're able to force a turnover in the opposing side's defensive end, it's just so much easier to set up a goal if you can get a early, quick possession on the other team's side.
And as we saw at that last goal from Hollis Mulry, it was all set up by a transition play where Mulry was running right in front of the net, caught the feed, and just finished right past Shotland. Teams will come back on the field now following the timeout.
It looks like Grace Callahan might be starting with the ball here, Jackson. It's interesting to see her be guarded by Dylan Patton. She's been a real defensive presence so far today.
Definitely, Dylan Patton is exactly who the Rams want on the ball. Callahan will successfully get rid of it, but a great job by Kaylee Harden. And now she's running in the fast break. She considered taking it to the goal there, but pulled it out. Rams ready to run in transition. And Hollis Mulry draws the call for shooting space, and she will have an 8-meter here.
You have to love the patience. They have to take the ball to the net here, though. With this little time left, you have to be able to take advantage of 8-meter shots like this.
A great job by the Rams. And Kaylee Harden forcing the turnover. And Hollis Mulry puts a shot on the goal, and she gets cracked, left on the ground, shoved over. So she will get another attempt, I believe.
You can definitely see the grittiness out of this Victor team. They've had a lot of penalties today. They've just been playing a really tough game. There have been a lot of New Canaan players hitting the ground because of Victor players. And when you play tough like that, it kind of scares the other team.
Now Hollis Mulry shoots and misses that one to the left of the cage, but Caroline Underwood's there to back it up for the Rams. Definitely signs of life offensively for the Rams. Getting a lot of opportunities, just not really finishing. And now Tully misses, but Underwood's there to back it up.
That was a great setup there by Lexi Tully. She was able to put the defender in the spin cycle, as we like to say. And hopefully she'll be able to do that again. If you can just keep getting shots like this, eventually one has to go in.
New Canaan's definitely struggled to finish. That could be partially attributed to the great play from Shotland, but Mulry rips a shot, and Shotland will save it. And it looks like there's an injured Victor player on the field who's struggling to get up. Victor parents are not happy about that. That shot from Hollis Mulry, which is an absolute rip.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that wasn't a penalty call, Jackson. I got to be here with the Victor parents on this one. She was running, the defender was right there, and she kind of ripped it right through her. I think the defender took a stick to the rib cage, which is never a good feeling.
Definitely not, and I think that's just Hollis Mulvey doing everything she can to get her team into this game. She saw an opportunity. She had to take the shot. That's what you have to do when you're down 4, coming to 10 minutes left in the game.
And the Victor parents appear to be furious, Jackson. There's a lot of yelling going on, a lot of calling for a yellow card, but it does not appear to be coming out.
And I think everything will be fine after this settles down, but looked like that Victor player was down is okay. And the Rams will be retaining possession with Caroline Underwood holding the ball at X. Canaan looking to attack here. They're playing fast, really running their offense right away. Kaylee Harden kicks it to Tully. Tully, one-on-one with the goalie, but she misses. And just so many opportunities that they haven't converted, Chad.
Yeah, this seems to be a common theme with this Rams team so far today. A lot of really close, up-close shots that they've just put too far into the dirt that have just bounced way too high.
And Patton. Rams moving fast with some energy on the offensive end. Devin Russell is looking to create. Now Harden with a roll dodge, looking to split the double. And a great shot by Kaylee Harden. Rips it top left corner. What a play by her.
And this Victor team's really made New Canaan work for every goal. We saw Kaylee have to put 2, 3, even 4 moves going on out there, and she was still able to score. But Victor's made it tough. They're winning this game right now. There's 10 minutes left, but they're putting bodies on the floor almost every single goal. This is something you typically see out of like almost a guys lacrosse team, but they're really making it hard. They're making sure New Canaan has to work for every goal, and they're making sure it hurts.
And Harden definitely had to work for that one, but a sensational play by her. Her first goal of the day, just putting the team on her back, taking it through the defense and ripping it past Shotland.
Yeah, and we saw with that goal, it was an up-high goal. Not many of the Rams shots have been higher up, but this seems to be the opening area on Shotland. She's not as tall of a girl playing goalie, and I'd expect more shots to be high to high than there have been so far in this game.
Definitely, Chad. The Rams' shot placement so far has just really been inadequate. They've been shooting it right at Shotland or missing the cage entirely, but when you place that ball well and rip it right over Shotland, that's going to be a goal every time. Now Devin Russell to take the draw. She's given the Rams some success so far. And just like that, a false start called on Livingston, and Russell takes the ball.
Yeah, this Devin Russell move to taking the draws has seemed to be a real motivator for the Rams. As she's able to draw a penalty there, getting slashed in the head. Not really sure if she was able to cause that, but definitely a misplaced check by the Victor team.
And just like that, it's a 3-goal deficit for the Rams, who shrunk it from a 5-goal deficit, and they will be man up for the next 2 minutes. We talked about this in the Darien game. This was a major reason that they lost and blew that lead, Chad. Penalties have killed this Victor team all season.
Yeah, and you can hear the frustration from the parents in the stands. Everyone, this Victor team, they'd been able to put together such a good game so far today. Definitely a little penalty heavy, but it's really hitting them right now. This seems to be a real issue for them at the end of games.
And we saw Devin Russell, who won that draw off a false start, and maybe some frustration boiled over there for Victor, who pretty promptly fouled her. But now it'll be Hollis Mulvey taking it. She loses it. She's able to recover. Kicks it to Tully. Kaylee Harden. Looked like she had an opportunity there, but a good recovery on defense by Callahan. That's why she's going to Michigan next year. Tully working at X. Rolls, kicks it over to Patton. And Devin Russell will get the call for shooting space, and she will have an 8-meter attempt.
Yeah, Jax, that was a great setup by Devin Russell. She saw the way the defender was positioned, and she knew she could take it in, get that free shooting space call. Hopefully she can take it to the net here, maybe shoot up high.
And official is telling Grace Callahan to position properly as the penalty for the Rams. It's at 50 seconds left. And another attempt for Russell on the 8-meter, but something, I believe a penalty was called there again, Chad?
Yeah, I believe it was maybe a shooting space call. I couldn't really tell what was going on there. But as we saw her go low again, and that just hasn't worked against Shotland today. She needs to go high up on this shot.
And now Russell went high, but stick side high, and that's a very easy save for Shotland. Right into her stick. And 17 seconds until the penalty is released for Victor, so New Canaan's got a ride here.
And Jackson,
Shotland's in trouble.
This Victor team hasn't been able to clear very well today, but you can see the veteran move there by Shotland to roll the ball into the crease.
And now they'll triple team, and a great check by Stella Nolan. And now Kaylee Hardin's running in the open field. Lexi Tully's waving for it. Kaylee Hardin looks to take it herself and scores! Another goal for Kaylee Hardin. That was electric, Chad.
Yeah, I was looking at the refs there, Jackson. I wasn't sure if they were about to make another call because we've already seen a Kaylee Hardin goal get taken away today. But it appears that was just a spectacular goal. You see her playing defense. This defense for the Rams, being able to force turnovers, that's where the goals are coming from. It's when Shotland's uncomfortable and has to get in net and it's not a set possession that Shotland hasn't been able to make saves on those kinds of situations. But in 8 meters and stuff like that, we've really seen her be a star today.
And that was just a great play by Kaylee Hardin. What else can you say about that one? A 3-0 run for the Rams, who have closed down their deficit to 2 goals, and they have all the momentum right now.
I mean, look, this is why this Rams team is 5th in the country. It doesn't matter what the score is. This team can always stay in games, and they're always going to be able to make it competitive as they get the ball here again.
And we were talking about this game when it was 7-2, Chad, as if the Rams had already lost, but they are definitely in the game now with 7 minutes to go. And the ball. Devin Russell looks to feed and finds Kaylee Hardin, who has the last 2 goals for the Rams.
I don't know about you, Jackson, but this game has a whole different feel now. You can feel the confidence coming from this Rams team. Even on sudden dodges, where they were previously throwing the ball away, they really seem to be able to control what's going on right now.
And their whole offense seems energized. They're just running. And a tough play there, as it looks like Hollis Mulry injured herself on that one. We're not going to speculate about this one, Chad, but that did not look good from her.
Yeah, Jackson, that looked a little bit familiar, if I'm just going to say that.
And we'll step aside for a moment here as the training staff attends to Mulry. And just something you never want to see here, Chad, as Hollis Mulry is helped off the field, not really seeming to be able to put any weight on that leg. But tough injury. You saw the Victor team showing some great sportsmanship, immediately rushing over to her when she fell. But they'll definitely change the tone of this game for the Rams with 6.5 minutes to go in this one.
Yeah, it's always tough to see a teammate go down like that. It's always hard to go back out on the field when you see someone take a real that appears to be a pretty bad injury, Jackson. But sometimes teams are able to rally around that. Sometimes teams make it a point to try and win the game for that player, and hopefully the Rams could do that. But that'll definitely be on their minds for the rest of the game.
And Victor will take over as Livingston takes the ball down the field. And she's called out of bounds. So the Rams regain possession, and we'll see if they can rally around the loss of star player Hollis Mulry. Russell looks to get out of trouble here. Great defense from Pierpont. Kaylee Harden will take it right to the box. Give it up to Stella Nolan, who looks to dodge. A roll dodge on Bruno. Shoots and scores, and just like that, it's a 1-goal game.
Yeah, Jackson, we've seen the Rams be able to put up 4 goals, and I believe it's the past 6 minutes here. No, not even 6 minutes. It's been 4 minutes. And look, it's hard to see a player like Mulry go down, but you can see Stella Nolan really stepped up here. We didn't see many shots coming out of her stick so far today, and maybe with Mulry out, she'll be able to take over a larger role.
And this team having to watch one of their best players, the USC commit, Hollis Mulry, walk off the field, clearly in some pain. It definitely put a chip on their shoulder. They want to win this game. They came back down 5 goals. It's a 1-goal game now. This team is definitely driven now, Chad. And Russell will take the draw. She's had a lot of success for them, really turned this game around. And she wins it. And Harden's there to scoop it up for another possession for the Rams. Russell hits, it gets hit on the head, and hope she's all right. She looks to be fine. The Rams will look to set up their offense here. They've been definitely clicking so far. A lot more movement from them, Chad.
Yeah, you have to believe Victor is kind of panicked right now. When you have such a big lead and then suddenly you watch it just dissolve away in a couple of seconds, and there's a goal by Caroline Underwood. She's had quite the game today. 2 goals, 1 assist. She wasn't really a player that we were expecting to see such an amazing game from, with players like Hollis Mulry and Kaylee Harden and Dylan Patton on the field. But she's really stepped up today. She's really been able to put together a great game. And she's a huge reason to why the Rams are in this game. 3 points from a player on the attack, always good to see.
Definitely. She did a great job stepping up. These attack lines for the Rams team are very close. You know, her and Hollis Mulry definitely have some great chemistry on the field, and she was not happy to see her teammate have to walk off injured, so she stepped up, made a huge play, and this game is tied.
And Devin Russell back taking the draw. She's been very successful at this so far today. She's been a huge reason to why this game shifted so much. Hopefully she'll be able to win again.
And this time she loses the draw. Livingston will take it, but Dylan Patton almost stole the ball away with a great check.
Jackson, I wouldn't be surprised if they try and keep Patton on Livingston here. You can see their speed matches up really well. Livingston's really tried to focus on beating people with quick moves and speed, and that's something that Dylan Patton excels with.
And Mabbitt will control the ball behind the cage before Victor proceeds to spin it around here. And I feel like this is a very pivotal possession for the Rams defensively. If they can force a turnover and prevent Victor from scoring, then the next time they have the ball, they'll be looking to build on their 5-0 run.
And you have to believe Victor's a little bit cold on offense. When you see another team put up 5 goals on you in that quick of a time period with very little possessions, you have to believe that this Victor team is going to be a little bit slower than they were on offense a couple minutes ago.
And Livingston almost got by Devin Russell there, but instead Bruno will control it as Livingston looks to redodge, and she falls, but gives it up. And there was no call initially, but it looks like it will stop play so Livingston can get her goggles back on and Victor will resume their possession.
You have to imagine the Rams are pretty thankful that didn't result in maybe an 8-meter, because with a player like Livingston, she's been so effective on 8 meters today. She's been able to beat everyone in towards the goal, and that would have been really dangerous for the Rams.
Definitely. So the Victor Blue Devils will retain possession. They're playing a slow game right now. Clock winds under 3 minutes, 20 seconds to go. It's Pronti holding the ball behind the cage. And a 3-second call there on New Canaan. But Pronti won't do anything with it, and Victor looks to reset their offense. A lot of cutters going for the crease. Pronti might go. She kicks it across to Livingston, who's guarded by Devin Russell. Great on-ball defense from Russell.
Yeah, they're definitely looking to be more aggressive towards Livingston. We already saw her get pushed on the ground by Russell once, and I wouldn't be surprised if they keep doing that. It really seems to be bothering Livingston.
And some solid defense from the Rams. Haven't given any opportunities for Victor. But Victor's had the ball for quite some time. That's definitely not good. And a feed inside. Looked like it was intended for Pierpont, but it ends up in the stick of Bruno. And now Livingston has it. The top of the box again, guarded by Russell.
You got to love the high IQ play there from Carolyn Barron, being able to cut that off. But Livingston on with a shot.
And a break for the Rams as she skimmed that one to the left of the cage as the clock runs under 2 minutes. The Rams need a stop here, Chad. Victor's just dominating the possession. You do not want them to have the ball for the entire last 2 minutes because they will get many opportunities.
Yeah, Jackson, but I think the key is not getting too worried. You can't get too aggressive in a situation like this. Your defense has been able to hold relatively strong for most of the day. 7 goals, it's not too many. It's definitely a good amount. But you just got to keep doing what you're doing. Don't get too frustrated with maybe the lack of possession.
And Pronti had Jade Lowe hung up on the crease, but Lowe recovers. And they'll double team Pronti, and they left Bruno wide open on the crease. And she finishes to take a 1-goal lead for the Blue Devils with 1:23.
Jackson, that was a great heads-up play by Bruno. Realizing no one was really guarding her, realizing that a lot of the attention was on Pronti there, and just being willing to just cut to the net, get a wide-open shot. You can't. If you're the Rams, you can't leave a UVA commit like that, just wide open to take a shot. You have to have someone else beat you. You have to be able to guard these higher level players, and be able to make a play, but it didn't seem to happen there.
And 1:23 left. There is still time for the Rams. You got to think they need to win this draw. Definitely need a possession here if they're going to cut into this 1-goal lead and tie it up.
Yeah, and this draw is definitely a fascinating one. Livingston versus Russell, both have been really good on the draws today, and you have to believe this is going to be huge for the Rams.
And Devin Russell has been dominating these second-half draws, but Livingston won the last one. Looks like Russell won that one, and it's scooped up by Kaylee Harden, who's going straight to the net. And she gets stuffed by Shotland. But it's another turnover, and Tully had an easy look. And a penalty is called there. A wild sequence of events. Kaylee Harden missed her shot. It was stuffed by the goalie. The goalie got checked, I believe, by Lexi Tully, who scooped it up and shot and missed.
Shotland's been really good today, Jackson. I know the Rams went on a 5-goal run there for a bit, but being able to make a save on a player like Kaylee Harden there, who's definitely a very good player, been really good in every sport that she's played here. Truly one of the best senior girls to ever come through here. And being able to make a save like that is really impressive. Oh, huge for their team.
And now the Rams will be forced to play defense. That's just the opportunity they needed with Hard and Chad. She was just unable to finish it.
But look, Victor hasn't been good at clearing today so far. I know Callahan has the ball here, definitely an impressive player. But
it's worth mentioning that the Rams will be man down for the remainder of this game. Definitely not going to help them in their cause, as Coach Frunze will take a timeout to talk things over. They've struggled so far clearing the ball. Definitely need to clear the ball without turning it over here.
yeah, it's hard to draw something up if you're the Rams here. When you're man down trying to set up a ride, I know in guys lacrosse it was always kind of hard because they do have that extra person. So there's always going to be an open player to get the ball to. So you really have to hope to almost get into the head of your opponent, put a lot of pressure on them, and maybe have them miss that pass. But that's all you can really do in this situation.
And we got to come back to that missed shot by Kaylee Harden. She just got stuffed by Shotland there. That was a golden opportunity.
Yeah, you can't even really call that one a miss, Jackson. It was just, it was a great save by Shotland. Like, look, we weren't really sure what to expect from her today, but she's put together a really good game. Being able to stuff Kaylee Harden high to high like that is something, I mean, you rarely see in this league, and she was able to do it.
I mean, I hate to discredit Shotland at all, but a lot of these shots have been stick side high. Just really poor placement from the Rams all day long. You got to think if the Rams had been bouncing some of these shots, putting some shots low and away on Shotland, they'd have some significantly more goals on the scoreboard.
Yeah, I would have expected a couple, maybe like more stick fakes out of the Rams, maybe change plane a little bit, but that's just something that hasn't happened. I mean, Lexi totally tried to go with a little 360 no-scope, I think I would call it. And, I mean, it was a dangerous shot, and it got her a 2-minute penalty. But I liked at least a little change of pace in the way they were shooting.
Yeah, Lexi Tully went for a little bit of a 360, I guess. She tried to go backhanded, but that was definitely a sequence where the Rams needed to put a goal on the board if they wanted to be in this game.
Yeah, Jackson. It looks like Dylan Patton and Stella Nolan will be guarding the ball here. Definitely two people the Rams want to have guarding. I believe it will be Callahan.
And Dylan Patton has had a lot of success today checking the ball out of the opposing player's sticks to force turnovers. So Rams got to hope she can do that here, but Rams are down 1, under a minute to go. And here's Livingston, who kicks it backwards. And a double comes from Nolan and Russell. They're preventing her from clearing it here, but Callahan gets free. Rams desperately chasing her on the ride, but looks like Victor can clear that successfully. Shotland nearly got intercepted by Underwood, and they force the ball on the ground but can't pick up the ball. 8 seconds to go. It'll be New Canaan ball. And the clock runs out on that one. So we're trying to figure out possession. And the game is over. Looked like there was a ground ball. New Canaan wanted possession, got called their possession, but the clock ran out and there was nothing the Rams could do on that one.
You have to believe the Rams are upset about that one. I mean, the refs were a little confused today almost the entire game. We saw a lot of ref ball going on, as I said previously. And look, it cost them at the end of the game there. They weren't able to get that final possession that they probably wanted. And you have to believe Kristen Woods is frustrated. And, I mean, look, this Rams team, they fought back. They put together a good game there at the end. But the early mistake, they were able to put together something good early, but they made too many mistakes in that middle half of the game that you just can't do.
And the Rams showed a lot of fight today, Chad. They were down 7-2, came back to make this a 7-8 game. Definitely going to help give them some momentum in their upcoming stretch against Wilton, Longmeadow, and Darien. But even if they'd won today, it may have been a bit of a loss to the team's morale, losing Hollis Mulvey out there. Such an asset to their team.
Yeah, you have to believe that that was definitely on the mind of the Rams, and you have to believe the girls are a little bit upset after losing their player and then losing a game like that in such a close fashion there at the end, and having it come down just a blown call almost by the refs, it seemed.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for today's matchup between Victor and New Canaan. And be sure to tune in tomorrow to the boys' game between the Rams and Radnor. And with that, we'd just like to thank our sponsors and thank our producer and camera operators.
Yes, Jackson. So let's get into our platinum sponsors here. Jackson, would you like to join me for this ad read? I know you and we like to hang out at Walter Stewart's. I always like to go there, buy some fresh produce. I always like eating apples there. I sit out on a bench eating an apple in front of there, and it's great. And Rambuya and Harrow Real Estate. Jackson, tell us a little bit about them.
They're great people.
I agree, man. That's a great ad read. All right, and Carl Chevrolet. Jackson, did you get your Volkswagen from Carl Chevrolet?
I did not.
Whoa.
But I wish
But
I had.
I know you went looking for cars there. They were super helpful for you. And as I say, the jewel of New Canaan Automotive Services. William J. Fessler Dentistry. Jackson, I see your teeth. They're beautiful pearly whites. Do you go to William J. Fessler?
I do.
Oh. And what do you like to talk about with William?
Lacrosse.
Lacrosse? Oh, me too, man. I love lacrosse. And now into our gold partners, the Renaissance Partners LLC, residential construction. I know your house was built by them. My house was built by them. Maybe everyone's house was built by them, Jackson. And Optimal Performance Healthcare. They're a great PT company. They do a lot to help people, injured athletes. And I know a lot of New Canaan athletes go there throughout the season.
And finally, I'd like to thank our stat department and our prep researcher, Braden Schenk.
Yes, shout out Braden Shank.